very pleased. I want to say thank you to Jason for helping us out there. But check this out, Rich. This is awesome. So this is, I just found this. In fact, I think Azzy had in the chat room posted this. This is a guy called John Heath, who just made the theme from Inception.
I actually watched some of this before the show when you were running it.
And it blew me away, almost to the point where I thought, is that real? So this is all done on an Arturia mini boot. I mean, multi-tracked to death and processed to death, but still, what about that?
Oh, it's a stunning achievement.
I'll move it on a bit because it does develop. I mean, it's so, but when you get to the strings. Just the kind of the mixing and the inclusion of dynamics in there. There's obviously the guitar part, which has got obviously using an onboard distortion in the DAW. And it goes right up to the kind of oh no, it's obviously drops back down again. Let me go to the, there we go. I don't know, if anything was an advert for a synthesizer, there it is right there. I don't know how many views this thing's had. Probably not. No, only 2,500. Hopefully we can increase that a bit. Oh, Rich, I mean, forget what he used just for now, but what a beautiful interpretation. I mean, it sounded like the real thing. So I know I'm not totally familiar with the real thing, but it sounded like it had all of that kind of emotion and moves. But beautiful, right?
Absolutely. A fantastic achievement. Great job. And a testament to how great the synthesizers are. And I'm looking over fondly at my Micro Brute as I say that. Really great instruments. I was watching Dodie recently fawning over the Matrix Brute. And essentially they're not dissimilar in terms of the circuit design of the oscillators and the filter and this particular filter. I know the Matrix Brute has other filters as well and other probably oscillator features as well, but these are amazing signal paths they've made up with these wave shaping and the overdriving of the signal at various points and the ability. It's a nice, very nice filter. It's funny how Niles Steiner kind of couldn't get arrested back in the day when he was making these things. I actually met the man and watched him work on his own gear, and it was an incredible experience to see. But his gear didn't sell popularly against Moog, Garp, Roland. It wasn't mass market appeal stuff. It was kind of small potatoes at the time. And it's amazing now that some of the best things about his designs, particularly this filter, have caught on so nicely in the Arturia gear, and they work great. They sound really good, and they're fun to use.
It's interesting.
I really love these instruments.
It's what's interesting to me is, he gave himself a technical challenge of apparently it took him 6 months to make, which I can totally believe. I mean, obviously that's probably not every day, but over a period of time, and to limit it to a single instrument, and particularly, I mean, the Steiner Parker filter does have a very specific sound, but obviously he's found all these little spots that just kind of allow it to emulate. And it takes me back to you remember, when the Korg MS-20 used to come with a little patch book, and you'd open it up and it would say oboe, clarinet, string, cello, and you kind of patch it up to try and, I mean, that's essentially the kind of modern day equivalent of that, but with all those effects as well. And obviously great skill at mixing and sussing out an arrangement so that it has that stuff. I mean, but it's like you say, it is a testament to, what instruments are capable of, because very often one is led to the extremes of an instrument settings. You go, oh, it's really angry. Well, it can be, or it can be less. I mean, it's so it's the space between those those key sounds that he seems to have identified so skillfully. This guy, John Heath, there. I don't know.
He's got a great sense for orchestration, and
yes,
he had a real vision of. Again, I'm not that familiar with the original Hans Zimmer piece either, but obviously there was a really clear vision of where he was going with this. So no, you only use extremes if at all, in the way like a guy like Tomita used to use them in his
Ah, yeah.
interpretations, where he would use extreme. Tomita was kind of famous for using kind of extreme synthy kind of effecty sounds in the midst of some kind of classical reading of somebody's piece. This guy didn't do that much. This guy kind of stayed within some
Yeah.
very cool atmospheric orchestration concept and made it speak. And again, it's a testament to the oscillators and those, and the oscillator and that mixer that allows you to take multiple waveforms, change their shaping and their intensity as far as how they overdrive the output. And when you do start looking around for sweet spots in there, there's lots of them, because there's a lot of stuff going on right there in that one oscillator just before you even start filtering it. It's just amazing amount of stuff you can do on those on that oscillator.
Absolutely. I was just looking for, Ty, who seems to be in the chat room. I know he's working, but he's obviously still keeping an eye on things. Ty Unwin, who is a very accomplished composer, said this is definitely about the user rather than the synth. And I would say, you could a sense
sure.
of what he's able to achieve with that. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it takes you back to the kind of notion of the bedroom studio. It's like, well, when you'd hear stuff and go, wow, was that done by, all by one guy or by one, it's the creative imagination. And it just great, a great little find that. I really enjoyed that. I think